Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Alco and Monty, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming Podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Trident Wargaming. We're doing some Horus Heresy again here today. I'm Andy, and with me is two battle bros. We got Alex.
Hello, Heresy fans.
And we got Dan.
Hello.
You guys doing good?
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Excellent. So today's episode, of course, we're missing our fourth brother of the lodge, Mr. Bill. He's got some rugrats to take care of, so. But
some non-Legion responsibilities.
Yeah.
The serfs? Is that what they're called?
He's got the auxiliaries to deal with tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, too good. So yeah, this episode we're kind of chatting a little bit about heresy. We got some stuff with the almighty Lascannons that everybody's been kind of feeling lately, and some talk about veteran squads and whatnot as well. Just some overall chatter, possibly state of the heresy and kind of releases that have been coming out and whatnot as well. So, but to start it off, I guess we'll go to the hobby front and see what everybody's kind of working on and their progress. So,
Andy's got to go first.
Yeah, well, painting wise, I had to take a step back for my Thousand Suns. I ended up, it's funny, I was talking with Bill and was going through the MK6 armor and just really wanted to use them, and then ended up starting to convert literally rubric marines for my Thousand Suns. So everything that I had started to paint with the MK3 kind of was pushed to the side and started building more miniatures to get to start painting for our slow grow league. So,
and they look fantastic.
Yeah, they've really caught the feel of that the rubric marine, the Egyptian kind of look to the army, and I've been applying them to the heavy weapon teams that I've been doing just recently as well. So I just realized that I need more parts. So that's kind of where I'm at. I guess next up is our 1,500 point level for our slow grow. So we'll be able to add a couple more toys and whatnot to the army. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Like what toys? What else are you working on?
Funny enough, it's kind of a little bit with the episode with the heavy weapon teams. I've decided to go with plasma cannons.
Interesting.
Are you upgrading them, or are you just leaving them as a regular upgrade? Sorry.
I know what you're talking about, the Asian Force pattern plasma cannons.
The Thousand Suns one, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to leave them just as plasma cannons. Unless it's like, I find probably the best weapon would be the actual plasma gun to upgrade to that. Just for the fact that I think you end up getting strength 8. You up to strength 8, and you become assault 2. Your range goes down a little bit, and then you have rending instead of breaching. It's a worse roll, but your assault 2, stick them in a rhino, zoom up, go do your business, right? So
yeah. So the cannons, they become 24 inches, so they lose 12. They're strength 6,
yeah.
AP 4, heavy 1, small blast, rending 6+.
Yeah.
But the Archon Force or whatever, so you can make them strength 8.
Whoa. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Like right into heavy squads.
I know. Dan was asking, but
Well, I don't know. I mean, now that we're talking about, maybe someone's like, "Oh, what is that?" I'm just sort of explaining. So they basically lose rending, but the rending gets worse, but the strength gets higher. So
yeah.
but we just
for me.
Sorry, Andy.
No, it's okay. For me, it was just shortly here. I just found maybe the plasma cannon might be more effective than it. So,
Yep.
But yeah, that's what's on the hobby front for me. Yourselves?
Dan?
I'm basically restarting my Death Guard. So the whole plan was just to use the whole new kits with Mark 6, and it's tough because Death Guard are one of these armies that they're not traditionally like the new Marks, so they're all Mark 3 and older. So, and then after, listening to Warhawk and then listening to Echoes, they basically talk about them being Plague Marines. They got green armor, they got their guts hanging out, they're spitting bile and have crusty shit all over them, and I was like, I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start buying 40k Plague Marines and just sort of dumbing them down a bit.
Okay.
By just giving them, trying to get rid of the teeth on the chest plates. Like there's some of them have like the
maws.
Yeah, maws on the chest plates, and then there's some of them have like plague bearers trying to force their way out of the armor. I'd get rid of that stuff and try to dumb it down so that they're sort of not there yet, and cut off tentacles and stuff. But
right,
the problem I'm finding right now is nobody's selling them. Maybe because I'm trying to buy Plague Marines 7 or 8 years after they came out. So
let's talk after.
Yeah.
I may have a solution for you.
But yeah,
Alex's supplies.
So that's basically where I'm at right now. I'm kind of just at a standstill and trying to figuring it out, and then there's also these Plague Marine. The part of the Death Guard 40k is they have these bodyguards, I think they're called, and they're basically cataphracti with the sides, but
Death Shroud.
Yeah, they're the Death Shrouds. They're the 40k Death Shrouds.
Yeah.
And I bought one kit. I found one kit, and I was like, oh shit, these look awesome. And I was looking at them, and I'm like, oh, they wouldn't be that too hard to turn into, because they have these 6 spires coming out of the top of their
armor.
The armor. So they look like little hives or whatever you want to call them. And I was like, this sort of looks like Grave Wardens. And I was like, oh, that'd be awesome to have them kind of mutated. And they're the ones I use. I don't really care for the Death Shroud too much. But the Grave Wardens, if I make these awesome super kits. Plus, I like the Mark 6 being a little bigger, makes it a little rough to have the Firstborn Marines, and I was just like, oh, these Plague Marines are going to be a little jacked up. Same with the Terminators; they seem to be a little taller.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, it's going to be a big enforce. The army is going to be just monstrous, and it's going to look imposing, and that's what I want. So I'm just waiting. Yeah. So right now I'm at a standstill. Sorry, with my hobby.
No, it's all good.
So, I guess a devil's advocate a little bit for you, Dan. It's clear with the Flight of the Eisenstein that after Istvan, the Death Guard are fully corrupted and mutated corrupted. Not like the other legions where they're kind of going sideways and then they hit Terra and they've got some horns. Like to your point in Warhawk and in Eternity, we'll probably talk about this next podcast, but like there's the image of like the Death Guard standing over one of the main characters and is about to kill him, and he's described as being like bloated and like pus like falling out of him, and like just like horns sticking out of the top of his head and one big eye out of the helmet, and he looks like a modern Death Guard, like
He's
a 40k
mutated.
Death Guard. Yeah, he's fully fucking gone. He's a Death Guard at that point. He's no longer like a Dust Shroud Death Guard. I think it fits, to be honest.
No, I agree. I personally don't like the big teeth on the chest. It almost gets cartoony to me. So I mean, like I have a shit ton of shoulder pads, and I was actually looking at the kits, and the kits actually come with enough bits that you can actually sort of make them sort of semi-normal. I was just thinking just to try and make them 30k ish, so that it wasn't like I'm showing up and guys are like, oh, you're literally just playing with your 40k army. Fuck off, right? So
nobody's gonna say that here.
Get fucked.
No, I know, but I just mean like,
Yeah.
I want to show that I actually put
Some extra effort into it.
Yeah, effort into being like, hey, you did put effort into trying making it 30k, and whatever, right?
It's all good. It's all good. I mean,
I know it's all our own hobby. I could play with Primaris Marines if I wanted to and just say fuck all you guys, right? Like whatever, right? Like
pretty much.
But yeah.
No, it'd be exciting to see what you do with them. That's for sure.
And then I found out, Andy, you were rubricing all your Marines, and I was like, oh fuck, we're all there.
Yeah, we are.
And then Alex is painting all his shit like pink and purple, and
it's got some interesting helmets and backpacks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the back. Yeah. So I'm not too far from what everyone else is doing already. So.
No, it's good. Like it seems like the new kit, like the MK6, has kind of really brought out the imagination for players, right? On kit bashing and whatnot, converting, and then of course also any kind of 3D printing stuff that's out there too. So that's pretty cool.
And I was joking with Bill at one time, and I'm like, I guess Heresy's turning into like bolt action. Now you got to talk about what era you're playing in, because they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm at the Wall of Terror. That's what these guys are.
Well, it is a historical. So
my historical
reenactment, right? So,
yeah. But in a sense, that's a good point. Like, I mean, the rules don't change.
No,
the equipment doesn't change, right? Whereas in like bolt action is like that, but yeah,
forge that narrative, baby.
Yeah, it's good. And Mr. Alex, I'm sure you got a little story.
No, I'm just gonna kill myself painting filigree. I've got the Phoenix Terminators on deck right now. I spent almost all weekend doing the filigree on the Phoenix Guard, the new Praetor, the new Terminator Tardos Praetor, and Lucius, and the Sun Killers that I built. I built Sun Killers out of the new Mark 6 heavy Lascannon shoulders, but we'll probably talk about this, and cacophony bodies, so a little bit more dynamic.
Okay.
Again, going for that later heresy. They've got lots of fucked up faces and and good poses all around with lots of filigree and black tattered cloth and small mutations and stuff like that. So it fit really well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I got all the base colors done. I'm just working my way through golds, touching up the whites, and then probably weapons here over the next couple of days, and then details. I'm done.
But you also restarted, right?
Yeah, to an extent. I repainted the 2 tactical squads that I hadn't finished. So I got 20 tacticals and I think 1 character that's still in the original colors. And again, they're pretty close. Like from 3 feet away, it's hard to tell the difference. It's just the purple's a little bit more rich on the newer units. Okay. And then everything else, I repainted 20 tacticals, a Praetor, and that was it. That's all I needed to redo.
Do you know who else had a problem with the color of a paint?
Yeah.
Like, because Fulgrim also.
I do like that's right. I got actually Fulgrim and Eidolon as a part of like I painted Fulgrim and Eidolon almost Jesus Christ 6 years ago, I would think at this point. And yeah, they're a little slightly brighter purple. The real upsetting thing is like I collected Forge World paints when they came out. So like I bought like Phoenician purple and Cacophony pink and like because they were like gonna take them out of production. So I got like 6 of these things sitting on my desk ready to paint my Emperor's Children. And then I started painting them and they released this is a contrast purple. One second here. A contrast purple Luxian purple, and through an airbrush it is just perfect. It's the perfect purple.
Yeah.
It's just so upsetting. Like I sprayed it once on one model. I looked at it, I was like, well, fuck.
It's amazing because like not like I know you were looking at the purple and you were struggling with some purples and whatnot, trying to find that mix. And then Bill was doing his Imperial Fists and he got that yellow and he did his undercoat of the pink and white and all that stuff, and it turned out great. And then like I ended up playing around with the new contrast, was it Bale Red?
Yeah.
And I was just like, this just completely took out my whole combination of paints that I would use for my Thousand Suns in one shot. And I was just like, everybody's doing it, why not? I'll do it too.
They're so nice. Like contrast is it's magic through an airbrush. I don't know how to describe it. It's fucking perfect. Just perfect.
Yeah, through the airbrush for sure, 100%.
I don't like the slapping it on and letting it sit in the recesses and dry. I actually don't like how that. I did like an entire Ossiarch Bone Reaper army for AOS like that, and I really don't like it. Like contrast black, contrast reds, just to like try it out and through an airbrush though, mint.
Yeah, exactly. Another tool right in the chest, so it's
I'll have to look at some greens and try them out.
Oh, definitely check that out.
So yeah, I kind of thought I was done, and then obviously the Proteus was announced this week, so I'm going to add a Proteus to the force, but I'm planning on being fully done, all 3K here, everything that I've got from Emperor's Children by probably end of October at this rate.
There you go.
Very nice. That's crazy. I'm not even close to that, so
I can lean back into Mechanicum.
Fun.
So yeah, that's it for me.
Nice. Well, I guess getting into some of the meat and potatoes. Big question, are the heavy support Lascannon squads the ultimate choice for the teams? Seems like everybody's kind of taking them. Pretty effective. Every time I see pictures online, that's all I see is Lascannons.
I think because the kit just came out, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, over the shoulder Lascannons to boot, which is pretty cool. But like in game terms, I mean, they are pretty good. Are they the best? Are they, the weapon of choice for each legion? I don't know.
Yes. Right on. Next topic.
Well, you have your Sun Killers.
Yeah, they're definitely the best for me, yeah.
So, I mean, they're really good for you for that, but I know, like, Bill has his weapon of choice just because of Imperial Fist with his big old assault cannons there.
Mm-hmm.
So he uses that. He's kind of going a different way of it instead of using Lascannons and stuff. But the whole thing, like myself too, like with the plasma cannons, I decided to go with them because I wanted to do something different, try it out, play it out, and then it kind of feeds into my army too a little bit, where I can switch on and off of their special upgrade. So, not to say that I probably won't take a Lascannon squad or something like that in there, but go ahead.
Well, I think this edition, more so than last edition, like for your straight across Lascannon, sorry, it just got better across the board. Your strength 9 AP2 heavy one shot, now got Sunder for free for the most part. And on top of that, across the board, they've dropped in points. Like, you're looking historically at 20 points in first edition for Lascannon, 10, 15 for a troop-mounted Lascannon of some form, another 10 points. So, for 20 points, you're getting a Marine with a Lascannon. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's the drop in points. I think it's with the added Legion rules that all got different things. I think I would say that there's still a glass cannon, like they still have power armor and they still only have leadership 8, and but it's the ability to upgrade them. So I mean, in the fact that can they take like augury scanner? Yeah, so they can take like an augury scanner, and augury scanners are so much better now.
Yeah.
So being able to that guy's going to deep strike in front of me. Well, now I'll just react to that. So I think reactions helped a lot, and being able to be like, I'm going to put this 300 point unit on the table and then get it shot off the first turn, you at least get a chance to be able to be like, I'm going to react and shoot back. And then you're going to most likely probably destroy whatever just shot at you.
Well, with the way to change the reaction.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to pick first. If you know you're going to die, it's probably a better bet to just do it, right? But I mean, the other thing is Master Signals became like an auto include for guys with these guys, right?
Right.
So the Master Signal gives them Ballistic Skill 5, gives them Night Fighting, gives them whatever else he does, right? It made them so much better. And Sunder helped a lot. I think it's just the added layers of bonuses to it.
Right.
That really makes them really appealing.
Yeah, to Dan's point, the Master Signals is giving them the augury scanner, cognoscignum, basically higher leadership, a 2-up, a blade of armor save for maybe the first turn, for 90 points or 80 points, 85 points or 90 points or something. It basically allows your heavy weapon squad, makes them BS5, allows them to ignore a lot of the restrictions on turn 1-2 with night fighting. Augury Scanner eliminates their 24-inch range, so it turns your 5 to 10 last cannon shots into 8 to 9 of these things hitting, and they're always going to be wounding on 2+ or penning on a 4 or 5, no matter what you're shooting at with rerolls. It just makes them such a lethal unit in a game. I think right now with second edition that just doesn't have a whole lot of access to AP2 anymore.
Yeah. So
you're getting quality fire consistently, and you're getting access to some of the only AP2 in the game. And on top of that, it deals with everything. You can return fire if a vehicle throws templates at you. You return fire below the vehicle. You get charged. You're going to kill 5 or 6 infantry if they charge you. You're instant killing Marines. It's good. It's good.
So
now that you mentioned that, sorry, Andy, it's also very effective against Contemptors, which are the big bad guys in the edition right now. So now you're wounding on Contemptors on 2s because of the high strength of 9, and you're AP2, so you're making them effectively rolling for their invulnerable. Yeah. So I mean, it's really good against Contemptors. You might be able to kill one in one turn potentially, right? So
yeah, the math is really close with killing a Contemptor and with 10 of them every turn. It's 5.6 wounds or something stupid.
So for a legion like the Death Guard, Dan, with your whole army being able to move and fire, would you consider multi-meltas instead of Lascannons?
The only issue with multi-meltas is they're 24 inches, but otherwise, yes, because they are twin linked.
Mm-hmm.
So, because Death Guard don't get their ability if they get out of a transport, they lose their relentless ability. So,
if they get out of a transport?
Yeah.
Oh,
So they lose.
walk.
They lose. So I got to walk. Yeah, basically. And
okay.
so Lascannons can sit and perch and shoot, while my multi-meltas are probably going to be walking up the board. And if you see something like that, they're probably going to die, right? So,
Fair enough.
but being able to move with the Lascannons and shoot also helps with positioning, because I know sometimes you get on a building or behind a piece of terrain, and all of a sudden there's a guy hiding, and you're trying to get more guys in there. It does help with that, to being able to be like, hey, I'm going to move 3 guys up to the top. So,
100%. Yeah.
but I mean, there's lots of benefits from lots of legions. So, because I mean, like sorry.
No, keep going. Keep going.
I was gonna say, you know, like before we started the show, I was looking at Emperor's Children. Like, you could upgrade them with the subsonic pulsers and giving them night vision, right? Like,
Yeah.
Iron Warriors makes them strength 10, so against vehicles and contemptors. So I mean, that makes them godly.
Hope you didn't need that Spartan turn 1 bud.
Yeah. Night Lords, if they're out, you know, if they're outnumbering, or you're shooting a pinned thing, you're obviously wounding one better. Well, you're strength 9, so it doesn't really matter. World Eaters probably doesn't help too much. Death Guard's pretty good. Thousand Suns. I've seen what happens when you give dudes with Lascannons precision shot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
being able to, so, you know, being able to take Librarian or mass Librarians and then giving them, is it telekinesis or no,
Precision.
divination?
It's divination. You get the
I mean,
precision.
everyone can do it, but I mean, Thousand Suns do it way better.
The thing with that too is because they have the minor arcana that lets the first wound be like allocated instantly.
Oh yeah,
so there's that. Or if you wanted a little bit of protection, you can always give yourself an invulnerable bubble. So
the teledome or whatever.
Yeah, just like you put your Praetor out in front. Oh, that's too bad. These precision shots. just catches like 8 Lascannons turn 1. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, and that's so, you know, bringing all these good points, you know, to bear. It's definitely looking like that, right? So it's straight up just Lascannons for the win, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't want to put it out there that like no other heavy weapon is good.
Because, there's lots.
You know, to Dan's point, like autocannons are still a decent choice for how cheap they are. Honestly, I agree. Like, I was playing around with a Death Guard list today, and I built like 30 heavy support, 10 las, 10 plasma, 10 autocannons. Like, I think you know, it is kind of Legion dependent. I just, you know, the other thing too is to derail. Ultramarines reaction allows them to pick another unit to shoot back. Having just like the ability to have a spare unit of Lascannons just fire back if one of your units gets hit.
Never thought about that. Never even thought about that.
He's definitely taken the master signals in the Lascannon squad. So you're like, oh, you shot my tactical squad. Well, my 10 Lascannons are going to shoot back at BS5. You know, get fucked.
Wow.
So there's lots of stuff. Again, you know, when you look at 10 Lascannon shots, you know, that's really it's dangerous against, you know, Terminators. It's dangerous against vehicles. But again, 10 plasmas are just as brutal in a different way. You know, like just the volumes of potential wounds from a 3-inch blast, you know, breaching 4 up, you know, dropping 10 pie plates, 10 3-inch pie plates on someone with a 4-up, you're gonna get 4-ups. Like, there's the volume of wounds on 10 models, you're gonna probably breach out most models in the squad. So like, there's value here across the board. It's just like Laz is just the, you know, mathematically Laz hits hard for kind of anything you need it to hit hard for with Strength 9 with Sunder. You know, Melta, Armor Bane, Twin Linked, Strength 8 only though. So, you know, if you're not in Melta range, Strength 8 is going to have a hard time popping stuff. You know, even wounding Contemptors at 3s, wounding Leviathans on 4s. Just that Strength 9 with Sunder is just is strong. Is strong across the board, no matter what faction Legion you're playing right now.
Good points. Yeah. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Now, to counter all that, how the hell are you going to deal with it?
By including 10 of my own.
Well, okay, return fire. I guess it's going to come down to possibly baiting the opponent from using their reactions, right?
Snipers from across the board being
There's
48 inches away, right? Being set because snipers can shoot 72 inches away.
So you're talking like Nemesis bolters.
Yeah.
Right.
So being able to shoot across the board and take out these guys before they can take you out.
Okay.
I think ultimately it comes down to sacrifice. You're gonna be like, well, I know this unit's gonna be able to take them out because of positioning or weapons or whatever, right? You're gonna have to be like, I gotta take one. You gotta take one for the team and like take them out potentially.
Yeah, I think as the meta evolves here in 30K, and I didn't say the M word, I'm starting to like my developing philosophy here with 30K is it's a meta of trading up, like the entirety of it. Like your opponent's got a contemptor, if your contemptor beats their contemptor, that's trading up. If you're able to knock 2 or 3 wounds off the contemptor and then knock it out in close combat before it can hit you back, that's trading up. Throwing a despoiler squad in a drop pod and then charging a Lascannon squad and tying them up, that's trading up.
Yeah,
just stuff like that. Like whatever you can do to equalize your points on your sacrifice or potentially like take a little bit more is like how the game's kind of evolving. So yeah, like I'm gonna throw 10 plasmas at your 10 Lascannons, and we're going to wipe each other out between shooting and return fire. But then those 2 pieces are off the board, and then the rest of the army has to carry. And I think when you're going to run into bad matchups is you don't have a trade up or a match to those things. So like if you don't have 10 Lascannons, throw 10 Lascannons or an equivalent like plasma or melta or a drop pod that can land on top of them and charge them turn 1 or whatever it is. Whatever your trade up is, or whatever your javelin is to deal with something on turn 1 or turn 2 like that, it's gonna you're gonna have bad games at the end of the day, I think.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Yeah, because
it's turning all into chest, but yeah.
Well, even just like close combat specific armies, that may not take those heavy weapons. Right, they're literally all about getting in close, like world leaders, getting in close and just, running guys down, kind of thing. Just like Alex was saying, like it is going to happen, right? You are going to have to sack that unit. So it's definitely, knight visits pawn kind of effect. Trying to
or like there's Legion ways out of this too. Like, Andy, you're playing the one faction that could just get away with this. It's like, move a librarian within 24. Well, you don't get reactions, then you shoot the shit out of them, and suddenly that 260 point heavy support squad can't do shit, right? There's and again, there's like, drop pod armies. You're gonna do damage, but you drop 2 despoiler squads or something like that next to a heavy support unit, like they're gonna get charged and they're probably gonna die. You might have to sacrifice 1 to get in, but you're gonna do it. And again, then you're holding back land. There's ways around it. Like I said, there's terrain. Maybe you hug terrain, you avoid it for 2 turns and waste their firing. You out deploy them, so their Lascannons are looking at walls for 3 turns and they're not getting 5 turns of shooting. Just stuff like that.
There's also the pinning effect.
Yeah,
well,
pinning.
Because pinning's a big factor in the game now too.
Absolutely.
But I'll be throwing a space wizard on a bike, just zipping them up there.
Barrage weapons, another option.
There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say
non-line of sight. Just again, like each wound you do that they don't save is like 1 less Lascannon is 20 points.
Yep.
Dropping like a 5-inch template on them where they can't see you or shoot you back every turn. You're going to start knocking out, and again, it doesn't take long to knock out like 3 or 4 of them. or even 5 or 6, and then what's the efficiency? Like the efficiency just dives after that. So
Well, it's either they stay still, or they're forced to move as well, right? And then they're not shooting. So
Well, like I said, I think they're glass cannons still, because they still take leadership tests, and they still only have a 3+ armor. So
snipe up the sergeant.
Yeah, just snipe out the sergeant with your own Lascannons, Andy, and
yeah. No, those are very good points. It's good chatter with that. It's good to see that it's coming to bear, right? Like even just chatting about how you're going to deal with it, and so many options just came up just now, right? And it was like, this is good. But I do like how Heresy, first we've seen the dreadnoughts, and now like the Lascannons are kind of taking place, but each unit kind of has a little bit of a counter to each other, or maybe there's a little gameplay that has a little bit of counter to whatever's going on in the game. So it's nice to see that happening, and players are kind of figuring that stuff out as well, and sharing those ideas with each other and stuff. So yeah, Lascannons, they're great, but there are other options, so it's pretty good. And speaking of like Nemesis bolters and whatnot, the I guess the next topic would be veterans. How good are they? Are they better than recon Marines or Seekers? Equipped with like Nemesis bolters, stuff like that. What do you guys think about veterans? What's their role?
It's tough because I personally haven't played with them, and I think what they basically do is give you a Build-A-Bear version of a Legion's vet. So if you're playing like World Leaders where they got like Rampagers, or Sons of Horus that get what are their units named?
Reavers?
Yeah, Reavers, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it just gives you a Build-A-Bear version of that. To be able to customize and make however you want, like the unit, like anything in the list, like looking at it now, they can basically take almost anything. Like they can take combi weapons, they can take Nemesis bolters, they can all switch out any power weapon, like they can all take power weapons, lightning claws, they can all take hand flamers, they can take all of them can take twin lightning claws if you wanted. But I think what really makes them beneficial is they're relentless and they have 2 wounds compared to other units. Yeah.
Yeah.
And PS5.
They don't have
their BS4.
Their weapon skill 5.
Sorry, it's weapon skill 5. Sorry.
Yeah. It's I think it's the Seekers that have bliss skill 5.
Seekers have, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Recons and Seekers, they only have 1 wound, and they all have Nemesis bolters, and they all kind of have similar rules for like sniping and whatnot too, right? Just from the bolters themselves. But like you said, Dan, 2 wounds and relentless.
I think because a lot of battle reports that I've seen right now, a lot of guys are taking vets with Nemesis bolters because they have that staying power of 2 wounds, and they can move and shoot.
Yeah, so keep them in cover for the first turn if you need to, kind of thing. And
there you go. There's your counter to the Lascannons.
Yeah, well, pop them out and have them on one corner of the board, and hopefully the Lascannons are on the other corner of the board.
Yep.
Maybe. That's wishing that happens, but I don't know if those Lascannons will be on the other corner.
They can take special or heavy weapons. So they can take flamers, meltas, plasmas. Well, usually it's 1 of 5, but you can give it a missile launcher,
right,
and still shoot it. So it's AP3, so that's going to help with taking out bigger units like that. I think what's also good about them is they can take drop pods and drills. So they can be in your face turn 2 or 3. They can't charge, but I mean, they got those 2 wounds, so I mean, they should survive a bit. They got lots of attacks, 2 attacks, base. Sergeant's got 3.
So they're a pretty good mix of a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, they're however you want to build them.
And they're
They're
chosen
not
warriors.
what they used to be. Yeah, they're so any of them can basically take a challenge, and I think they're not the way that they used to be, though. The way of the old, where people literally took them with combi meltas and took tank hunter, because they don't get that ability anymore.
No.
Of being able to choose a USR of their own, and so they basically became like combat units.
Yeah, it's interesting though that they, compared to like Terminators, that they have the weapon skill of 5.
Well, they're vets. They've been fighting for longer.
Sucks to be you, Terminators.
Yeah.
Just because you get fancy armor, you still suck.
But speaking of armor, I think that's what their biggest drawback is.
3+.
They still 3+ armor. They don't have. You can't even buy an invuln like a combat shield or nothing. So, I mean, the 2 wounds does help, like against bolters and stuff like that. But Lascannons and missiles will still one-shot them.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, sorry, yeah.
I think if we're talking Nemesis bolters, like I get why you take it with the 2 wounds, but I think I had to double check my own rules here just to make sure I wasn't talking to my ass, because I'm in the same boat, Dan. I haven't played either of these yet. I'm trying to figure out how I want to model 3rd Legion snipers, because I think it fits the theme a little bit, like very precision oriented armies. But
Perfect shot.
I think honestly, like the for 3 points more for a vet, you're losing ballistic skill 5. You're losing precision shot 4+, and mark for death and infiltrate, and you're gaining a wound, an attack, and access to different stuff. I think they really fill different roles, and honestly, I might be talking my ass. Maybe all the Ravenguard players are gonna get up in arms about this, but I think the Seeker Squad, if you want to snipe things, the Seeker Squad is the better option with precision shot 4 up, infiltrate and mark for death. It just allows you to put them wherever you want to put them, in terrain or wherever, high up. You don't have to worry about your deployment zone. You can really put them so that they have the best chance of starting sniping things out. And again, like, even if you're not rolling that 5 up for like a precision shot for a sniper rifle, putting consistent shots like on a sergeant or an apothecary, if they didn't take the artifice armor, and they fail a 3 up, you've just killed an apothecary. Plinking wounds off something consistently has value to it, and having a 50% chance to do that is pretty sexy. It kind of, like, I think you're bang on there, Dan, with your point about they are a kind of Build-A-Bear assault oriented force. Like, just their access to all the melee weapons, their access for transportation, just kind of makes me think that they should be more focused on
combat,
grabbing objectives. Yeah, assault,
shock assault.
Yeah, because you want to, you really want to leverage that. I think with those models, you want to be able to get up, shoot something, charge something, and be able to compete in both fields reasonably well. And I think that's what you're paying for there. If you just want to like snipe out characters, I think the Seeker Squad's the better option. And then obviously the third being the Recon.
So, with this veteran squad, talking with Bill earlier today as well. Now, taking into consideration like the way like Bill was talking about taking these with his Imperial fists, and because they are a bolt weapon, I believe, Nemesis bolter, he's hitting on 2s.
Yeah.
So that makes that even better for him, right? Having the 2 wounds, all that
fist.
Oh yeah. So in like that case, maybe that's way worth it for him, right?
Yeah.
But I do see what you guys are saying as well. Like, there's the different options. The Recon squad, their line as well, are they not?
Well, they're the only ones that are lying out of the three we've talked about.
Yeah.
So I think that also was what hurt vets too. Is vets used to be scoring, or lying, or whatever you want to call it, and now that they're not, I think so. People have, kind of gotten away from them because they lost that ability. Because that was a big gimmick, right? Where guys would take them in Dreadclaws or whatever to try and get them up the board. So what they would do is they'd go and they'd do their one-shot kill of a tank, and then they'd run over and sit on objective for the rest of the game. And now they're more basically like Chaos Chosen.
Yeah, aspiring champions almost, kind of in a sense.
Yeah. So you're just gearing them to how you want them to fight other melee guys.
No, that's fair enough. That's true. It's an interesting unit. We'll see how people kind of do them up and whatnot.
And it's funny because different armies make me want to play them different too. Because I haven't played with them yet, but I still think about them. And what's funny because I right now my big kick is destroyers with twin flamers, right. And I'm looking at vets. Well, they can all take hand flamers for 2 points. And they can take a drop pod for 35 points. I'm like, oh man, I could have like 10 of them, and then I could just stick them with hand flamers, and then they can just come down, do my, chem flamer gimmick, and then they can sit there and be 2 wounds and fight whatever back if I give them all, power mauls or power swords or lightning claws or whatever, right?
Well, even somebody charging you.
That too, yeah.
With those hand flamers, right? Like I remember playing you early on, Dan, with the hand flamers. It was just like, no, I'm going to psychic power you and not let you react. Because that's scary when you got that many flamers hitting you. It
is. When I played him, I was just like, so if I charge you, I'm charging through dangerous terrain, and you get Wall of Death. And I randomly just, on a roll of a 1 lose models on the way in. This sucks for a melee army.
Mm-hmm.
So there's I think it all depends on your legion and how you want to build them. Like Bill wants to use them for all shooting Nemesis bolters, right? So you can shoot across the board, AP with hitting on 2s, and then having that staying power. And I'm thinking more, dropping them with flamers and like other things. And it's tough because with Emperor's Children, you got Palatines. These are basically Palatine, right?
Palatine are better in every way.
Yeah. But that they're basically almost the same, right? Weapon skill 5. You can take whatever power weapons you want. And that's Palatines. Same with the Reavers and Rampagers for World Eaters. So I think they really help legions that don't have these. Like Night Lords have Terror Squads, which are pretty much the same thing. And they get different things with fear and whatever else. But so I think they really help armies that don't have that cool...
That's right. Ultramarines, Salamanders, Raven Guard, that don't have like that dedicated melee punch. I guess Raven Guard have talents, but just, that gives you another option.
The elite choice.
Yeah.
Gives you an option to throw like a tactical focused 3-up at someone with a good melee chance of beating them up.
Because weapons. Even when I was playing Iron Hands in the first edition, I eventually got to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm just tired of just sitting and shooting, because that was a lot of what Iron Hands is just surviving. And I was like, you know what, Gorgon are weapon skill 4, and they're not very good in combat. So I'm like, you know what? I built a whole 7-man vets, and now I can use them effectively with them being weapon skill 5 and with 2 wounds, and they'll survive forever. So eventually, if I ever get back to playing Iron Hands, that's probably the way I'll do. I'll play with the vets because I took them all with power swords.
I remember that fight. Fight I had against you. You blinded your own guys.
Yeah, with the Gorgon Terminators, yeah. Everyone was standing all next to each other, and they all blinded everybody, and it was ridiculous. But yeah,
This is why Ferris lost his head.
Oh,
but yeah, so I mean, like, it really helps. So I think it's really good for those armies that don't have those dedicated melee.
Yep. Definitely makes sense. Like I haven't even looked at them because of the Thousand Sons have, not only do they have the Sekhmet Terminators, but they also have the Kenate Occult Cabal as well, right? And they're monsters for combat as well. So,
so much better this edition, which is good.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is I've noticed that they've kind of been doing that with a lot of underdog units from last edition and bringing them into this edition. They've gave them kind of a perk of they're actually worth taking, right? Maybe not all units, or over all the Astartes are like that, but pretty.
Well, that's
pretty
what GW does, though, right? They take units, they switch the meta by making things either expensive or shitty, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, vets were like what everyone took, especially when they used to have sniper. And not that the vets are bad at all; they're just not what they were. They're still pretty good.
Different
you just
role.
have to build them to what you want, rather than they're just being that one role. But I mean, it's making other units better in the game. So I mean, like
100%.
you're right. They dumbed down the Sekhmet. Sekhmet were used to be godly with their flying across the board and 3+ invuln, and now they're just not, they're average. But your other guys were overly priced, and then you had all this other crap you would have to do to just even get into combat, and it was just tough for that unit.
Yeah.
So
yep. And now, Sekhmet are just they're good. They're still decent, but they're not like they used to be. So
unkillable.
Yeah. Expensive as hell, but yeah. But
save that for the fire drakes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's another unit.
So
right
yeah,
there.
those are my take is that I think vets have a role. Again, the Imperial Fist is a solid example if you want to snipe with a specific faction for them.
Mm-hmm.
But my take is still the reconnaissance.
The Recon
sorry,
or the
Seekers. Sorry.
Yeah. And then you could combo up that Seeker with the is it the Vigilator?
Vigilator, yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to pick off characters every turn.
Yeah.
2+ rending and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one in my White Scars army that I had painted up, but it's interesting.
I keep trying to figure out a way to fit them into my 3K, just to have one.
Haven't you seen that was a huge thing going around, that you take them as allies? You take a Vigilator, and then you just take 2 Recon squads, and then you just have 2 infiltrating squads. You don't even have to give them sniper rifles. This is getting off topic, but basically what you do is you take a Recon company. Sorry, you can't even do that. Never mind. It was going around for a while that someone was talking about taking Vigilators.
I just put a Vigilator in my army. Fuck it. Just an HQ slot.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
They're fairly cheap, I think, too.
I'm just trying to think of what psychic power to give them. But
If he's standing still, Telecadome, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, you can't do anything, though. That's the thing.
Oh, no, you just forgo your shooting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you want to shoot
so
with them.
you're moving. Forgo your moving.
No, but anything, like any kind of activation of him will pop it. So, but there's other ones that you can probably use. But yeah, no, that's some good thoughts on everything, the units and whatnot, and comparing those units, pretty good. So thanks for being on, guys. It's always a blast talking about Heresy. So,
yeah, for sure.
No problem.
Hopefully soon enough we'll be playing larger games. So I know Dan wants to play some large 3K games, and I'm sure Alex is ready.
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
I'm not even close, so unless I use one of my other armies. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and hope you enjoyed it. We'll have a lot more kind of like this going on in the future here. If you do like our stuff, check out our, YouTube, Instagram, or podcast on whatever streaming thing you're doing there. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.